Hello everyone and welcome to today's session. I would like to begin with introducing myself and my company. I am Alvin George. I work as a strategic consultant with the company Industry Arc. Industry Arc is a leading strategic and management consulting firm. We specialize in providing market research reports and database accesses across various domains including chemicals, electronics, oil and gas, pharmaceuticals and semiconductors. Our specialty lies in providing accurate data information across all these just mentioned areas. I would like to highlight on today's topic, that is on learning management systems. The learning management system is something that we can all include under the e-learning basic of segmentations. E-learning is something that has been more in demand in the past 5 years. And that is the reason that we have chosen to focus on learning management systems. Learning management systems have somehow been the trend in this industry, and we at Industry Arc feel that it's going to be close to a 30 billion industry this year itself, forecasting a double-digit growth for the next 5 years in key economies like Africa, Asia, and even in the Europe. North America, however, has been a stagnant market for e-learning, that is. Now let's focus on LMS. Before I begin on LMS, that is a learning management systems, I would like to emphasize on what I have included under LMS. LMS is something that you would consider not only as a content provider but also a content creator. We include in that administering, registering and sharing of content under learning management systems. Learning management systems often have different names. Some get it confused with LMCS, that is Learning Management Content Sharing. But even though we have, just to include the variety of companies in the market, we have tried to focus on LMCS and LMS as well. Once we proceed throughout the session, you will get to know the different companies and the differentiations between different companies and the different product lines. So we would like to move to the next segmentation of this session, that is on the market of this product, or as we say it as a service of LMS. Hereby I would like to introduce different services and different companies are within this market. We can start with cloud services, we can start with content creation, and also on corporate based companies that provide information and training sessions to Fortune 500 to Fortune 1000 companies. Moving ahead to the market segmentation part. Now, I would like to name out few companies that will be the topic of discussion going forward. The first company I would like to mention is Edmodo, and the second being Moodle, Schoology, Connect Edu, and Collaborate Classrooms. According to Industry Arc, the people over here, we feel that these companies are going to be the next best thing in the next 5 years. Even today, they have a larger market share as compared to other companies. The key USPs have always been their pricing, their content creation, their content sharing, and their content archiving. These facilities have been extended over different subscription periods, over different subscription licenses. And this is what we have seen has helped such companies come ahead. Boardroom at a time was one of the major companies in this market, but now that we see that Edmodo and even Moodle for that matter has taken up its position. The USP about Moodle, as everyone knows, is its open source, being a free content sharing sessions, be it any new training sessions that are being uploaded, or be it any access or any files anywhere. The difference about Moodle, or the USP of Moodle as we call it, is that Moodle has been able to provide open source content. Open source, as we know it, is today a very big thing, as it is customizable, as it is editable, as it is easily available compared to paid subscriptions. Not everyone in this market has option of getting for subscriptions. Take Africa for that matter, take Southeast Asians for that matter, or Asia for that matter. Countries or economies like these where subscriptions are not the preferred choice, Moodle has been able to penetrate the market, bringing about a new learning management system revolution within these countries. The other distinction between few companies that we could talk about is about the services that they offer along with e-learning. Digital Chalk is a company that is well known for providing best content available, say for K to 12. But we alone know that K-12 is not a major prime focus areas. Apart from that, corporate trainings has become the major focus nowadays. So digital chalk has been more prominent in providing K to 12 areas, but on the same front, we have other companies like Moodle and Grovo providing corporate training as well. Now, corporate training has been the highlight for our research as well, because these are the services that companies have chosen to train their employees, basically reduce the time spent on training, and even to save the manpower. You have an e-learning option. You ask people to on video conferences, you ask them to learn, you ask them to teach on video conferences, you ask them to go for sessions or go for videos on online sessions. So that is comparatively a much better option and a much better time saving perspective. As going forward, when we talk about corporate trainings, few companies have focused more on subscription services and few companies have focused more on the content. Much of these companies, Fortune 500 that is, which we had a discussion, of these companies, they would prefer on the content rather than focusing on subscriptions. And that is one of the advantages that these companies in the top 5 list have had. Subscriptions are something that differ from various company to company, but again, the problem is not with the end pricing or with the bottom line, it's always the focus on the majority of the content. Talking about education-based services and corporate-based trainings, education-based services still have a larger market share as compared to corporate-based training. But as we just pointed out, that it has a higher growth rate. It's had a higher possibility of being adopted and it has seen higher penetration among various companies and various geographies. The problem with the market of corporate training is the focus and the content that is available. First of all, the focus on what content has to be actually being, transmitted or be hammered onto people, or what they actually want to learn or what they have to learn. It varies from company to company. Customizable solutions are something that has been the focus for corporate companies, wherein they want their own content, wherein they want their own classes and sessions, wherein their own employees can come at different times and track their progress and learn something, and over a brief period of say 3 months or 6 months or 12 months, that is the durations of different project courses, they can learn something and they can get them certified. That is the focus of corporate companies, and few of these companies like Grovo have been able to achieve that. Even for that matter, Litmus and Absorb, these companies have been one of the major market players, and together Litmus, Absorb and Grovo for that matter, they have been the major market shareholders in this corporate training market. Now when we talk about corporate training, majority of the companies, they always face a problem with employees going on a leave, and that is where the subscription goes on a waste. But now that we have seen that companies or the service providers, they've come up with solutions such as you can transfer that subscription to another employee within the same company. For example, my colleague goes on for a paternal leave, and if I want that, I want that subscription to be transferred to another colleague so that they can work on that, so that she can learn from that. So at the same time, I can do that as well through different subscription options. I can transfer that subscription from one employee to another employee, wherein the employee who has gone on leave can enjoy his parental vacation. At the same time, another employee can start learning at the same subscription. Now, these are the services, or these are the best market USPs that these companies are coming up with. The best pricing options. Now, that is the second focus apart from content. That is what these companies have seen. The pricing is something that majority of the companies are obsessed with Asia or in Africa for that matter. Now, pricing has been another major bone of contentment among other economies as well, see be it Europe as a developed economy. So what these companies or the service providers have come up with are subscription services. If you pay them for a month, it's obviously more expensive. If you pay them together over any period of year, it's cheaper. But apart from that, the major focus has been providing overall solutions, wherein these companies have come up with support systems, dedicated to one particular company, so that they feel any issues or any backend issues that they face, these companies or these service providers, they are able to tackle the pricing perspective by providing them dedicated service. Now that is what these content providers or these players in the market have not yet been able to understand, that apart from providing such solutions, pricing has been another major focus. If you try to reduce this market, or if you try to reduce this gap in the market between the pricing and between the providing dedicated service, Now that is something that where people can work, or where these companies can get more revenues or garner more revenues. If this gap has been addressed very well, or had it been addressed very well, we would have seen at a much bigger industry. Now, to do that, what we at Industry Arc feel is the content creation has been more on of a SEORM basis. Now, when we move from SEORM basis and when we move to dedicated content, that is where the pricing has always increased. If all of these content players, they can come on this common platform of SEORM, that is where we think the pricing gap can be divided, or can be matched, and that is where all of these companies or other companies or other economies for that matter or other geographies can be explored by these companies. To bridge the pricing gap, we do have seen some efforts from these players. For example, Halogen. It gives out subscriptions based on the size of the office. It does not go for fixed prices. Say you have 25 people in your office, you don't want to pay for 500. So that's something that they have been trying to do, and these players have so far been able to penetrate somewhat of the market. But again, the major players in this industry, they have been able to withhold the market share, have been consistent in doing so based on their pricings, based on their subscription services, based on the content that they provide, and other better opportunities, other better alternatives are yet to be seen. Absorb is being a turnkey product in this year. Now, Absorb has come up with good products and good content in this learning management systems. You have cloud-based services, you have content creation options, you have content sharing options, and you have daily tracking, employee tracking, and progress tracking for that matter. So when you talk about Schoology in that context itself, Schoology is being more of a social kind of learning experience. They would focus more on learning and then sharing and creating the content again, or trying to get more people to join their product or to join their service. So that is the difference between Absorb and Schoology. Schoology has able to garner more and more users, but at the same time, when we look at Absorb, there's a difference between these two companies, that Absorb has been able to garner a much larger customer base. You do see the difference between a customer and a user over here. The end users are something that Schoology has focused on, but at the same time, Absorb has started to focus on its customer base. Increasing its customers has helped it achieve higher revenues as compared to Schoology. Now, that is something that is not, we not say this report or this analysis is based on an annual perspective, but again, giving the short duration or given in 3 month or quarterly results for these companies, it's pretty evident that Absorb has been able to do very well with increasing its customer base. Now, let's talk about Digital Chalk. That's one of the favorite companies that I have come across within this research that I was undergoing for learning management systems. Now, people, as we discussed before, the pricing factor that has been the major restraint for this market. People often focus on the bottom line that is going to cost them more, but Digital Chalk has done one thing better. It provides an end-to-end solution. You start with content, you start with tracking, you start with administering, and then you end it with backend support. Now, this entire solution would cost you around say $1,500. That's expensive, obviously, but over a period of 1 year, when you compare it with other services or other companies that provide the same solutions, it's a much better bargain. Okay, now the pricing is done, the end-to-end delivery solutions is done. Now let's focus on some other considerations. If a company or if a corporate, say a Fortune 500 company is at all interested in going for an LMS solution, what should it focus on? My answer, it's customability. Customize the product, the option of getting content, the option of providing your own content for training, your people for training, e-sessions or e-learning sessions or video conferences for that matter. You try to go through your employees, talk to them, make them understand that this is the importance of a training session. Now, after all, they get ready for a training session, or if at all they're voluntarily interested in learning something new, or you get them certified. What are the options that you should focus on? First thing, which should be your employee strength. Look at your office, see how many people you have, look at the space you have, look at the requirement you have. Then you can go to these private players and ask for a customized solution. It should be variable. It should vary from a company to company. If you see that your crowd is a young crowd, you would prefer more on a gamification front. But if you see that your crowd is a middle average person, a middle aged person, so you would focus more on something that is that could be interactive, that could be easier to understand. So these should be the customability options that these companies, for a company, a mid-sized company, say a 10,000 plus company, or say a mid-sized company or a smaller company, should focus on when it goes for a learning management system program. Now I have a list here with me of all the companies, of all the major companies at least. Now I would just like to share these company list with you. Now when we talk about customers and users, as I've explained before, there are two different things. Your customer may be a guy who is sitting, or a team that is sitting at a product management team, and they want to look at a new product, or they want to procure a new product. At the same time, a user is your end user. A child can be your end user, but the dad would be the customer. I have split these companies based on two parameters. One, that is the customers, and second, that is based on the users. Now we have Connect EDU, Edmodo, Moodle, Collaborise Classroom, and Schoology based on the total customer basis. Now these companies have been successful in getting more and more customer bases, but at the same time the end users are few of the companies that have been more successful in penetrating individuals. We have Moodle, Sum Total Systems, Connect EDU, Blackboard, and Edmodo. Now, what do you think, or what are your opinions about the products that we just mentioned, or the companies that we mentioned? I would like to encourage all of you to post your comments so that we can get back to you with all your requirements or any inquiries that you have. As far as I'm concerned, this LMS market is going to see a double-digit growth in the next 5 years. And in key economies like Africa and Asia, it's going to be a major player. As far as Europe is concerned, it's still going to see some growth, but North America is going to be stagnant as ever. Thank you.